Many sellers rely on the same ad strategies quarter after quarter, and they don't even realize how much potential they're leaving untapped. In this episode, Rita Java walks us through what's new with sponsored brand video ads and how sellers can start using them more effectively. It's a practical, up-to-date look at what's working right now on Amazon ads, and you won't want to miss this. Our guest today is the founder of PPC Ninja, an AI-first advertising agency helping 7, 8, and 9-figure Amazon brands scale with omni-channel advertising and AI-ready content. She's an award-winning speaker and keynote speaker at over 100 industry events, including Amazon Accelerate. So please welcome Ritu Java.
Hey Norm, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. How are you?
I am doing good.
Well, today, this is right up your alley. We've got so much to discuss, and I can't wait because this is perfect for people, especially going into Q4. So I guess we should just jump right into it. Topic is going to be about scaling with Amazon brand videos. So I guess the very first question is, what are the advantages of running sponsored brand ads?
Honestly, sponsored brand ads are one of my favorite ad types on Amazon advertising. And it's a pity that a lot of people don't take advantage of it, they don't leverage it. And I just want to show how important and useful it is to understand how sponsored brand video ads run, because you can really reach your shoppers and and create engagement for your brands. Just by knowing a few things that a lot of people maybe don't know. So I think Norm, you and I can go into the details of how to set them up, or what are the best practices, etc., all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Why do you think that so many Amazon sellers are not utilizing them?
There's a lot of deep-seated myths around sponsored brand ads. One of the things that people believe is that sponsored brand ads are expensive, or that sponsored brand ads are for big brands. Some people think that sponsored brand ads don't help with ranking, so we shouldn't waste our time on them. And some people think that 90% of Amazon ads inventory is sponsored products. So why bother? Like, why should we waste our time on sponsored brand ads? Or that sponsored brand ads will cannibalize your sales. So there's a bunch of, different myths, packed into this page. Just wanted to, share that these have been built up over time. Like, a lot of people have said things about sponsored brands that make them less attractive, whereas I think that because sponsored brands represent prime real estate on Amazon, you shouldn't be ignoring them, because this is actually the first ad that anyone ever sees on Amazon. Once they put anything into the search results page, this is what they see. The first ad, it's sponsored brands, right? And I wanted to show you an example of something that I was just searching for. So I was looking for foundation, and right there, pops up a sponsored brand video ad, the first thing I see. And it's so eye-catching because, I'm immediately drawn to it. They've got my attention. I want to finish watching it. I don't want to scroll down because they've got my attention right there, right? So that really makes it prime real estate. And while this is a well-known brand, right? People can identify with this brand. Yes, this video is studio quality, but I have seen numerous ads that do really, really well in this position if only certain best practices are followed. And so I really do think that there's an opportunity here where brands of all sizes, all shapes and forms can compete in a very competitive market with big names like the ones you're seeing up on the screen.
It's a pattern interrupt, right? So that's why, you have that video and it just stops you. So you're right, absolutely right. It's in the best real estate on the page and you're going to watch it. It's going to grab your attention.
The best thing is that these ad types can show up on top of the search results page, but they also show up in the middle of the page sometimes. So like as you're scrolling, you'll see a carousel right in the middle of the search results page. And then they also show up on the product detail page. So you're just creating that asset once, and you're kind of being able to take advantage of all those placements, which is great. And then depending on how much you're bidding, you can either show up at the top, or you can show up in all those other placements, which is great because that gives you more opportunities to engage with your shoppers wherever they are in whatever stage of the funnel they're engaging with content right now.
Now, I might have jumped the gun talking about the myths right off the bat, but do you want to go back and talk about a few other myths that Amazon sellers might have?
So one of the big myths that I did touch upon is to do with ranking, right? So there's this myth that if you can kind of create sponsored product ads and kind of prove it to Amazon advertising that these keywords are converting, then you will get more visibility and you'll start ranking for those keywords. But as you can see here, this keyword foundation immediately brought up this ad, right? And it is clearly ranking for the word foundation, right? You don't need to prove anything. It's just the first thing that people see, and it's right there waiting to be explored, right? So in my opinion, it isn't true that bidding on certain keywords for sponsored brands is not going to help you, because Amazon advertising, always takes into account all the keywords that people are using to reach your products, and all that information, all those insights are used in many different ways, and therefore we cannot ignore the potential that this ad type has. And definitely that myth doesn't belong here. Like I've done numerous tests, and I do see that it's not true. You can actually get top placements by using sponsored brand ads.
So I've heard you talk a bunch about the traditional marketing funnel. And now, can you just tell us how that works with these ads?
In the traditional sense, marketing funnels were used to take people through a process of awareness, consideration, and desire and purchase, right? Now, we know that in today's day and age, people are engaging with social media, they're engaging with websites, they're engaging with apps in their own time, in their own space, on their own devices. And you never know which engagement can lead to a purchase, right? So you actually want to meet shoppers where they are. And for that reason, having the mindset of a full funnel strategy is very important. And there is no other better ad type on Amazon than the sponsored brand ad, because this can be used for immediately creating awareness. Like for example, if I type foundation and I saw this ad, I immediately become aware of first of all the product line. I get awareness about the value proposition of the brand that's being shown to me. I immediately can learn about different aspects of foundation, whether they are like for certain lights and certain skin types and so on. So I get awareness through this ad, but at the same time, I'm also considering purchasing from some of the collections they're showing, like some of the items in the collection. So I'm already drawn to that. I'm already considering it, right? If that was something that is in the area of interest for me, I will be drawn to an ad like this. And then let's say I am actually in the market for buying a product like this. I don't mind clicking on it, especially because it's showing me that there's a deal going on. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. There's a deal going on. So, you see what I just did? Like in a single ad, with a single ad, you're actually touching shoppers that might be in any stage of the funnel, and you're reaching them through this one very powerful ad type. That's why I think that the more people utilize this ad type, the more they'll be able to reach audiences that are in different stages of awareness and in different stages of their buying journey.
So you've provided the importance of these funnels, but now can you show us some visuals?
Yeah, so I have some examples. So let me share my screen here. So I think that because sponsored brands have a visual component to them, you want to use these visuals to tell a compelling story, right? We all say that an image is worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is worth 1,000,000 words, because it's moving, it's dynamic, it draws you in, it brings you in. So telling visuals requires certain best practices, right? A lot of people have mastered the art of beautiful storytelling through video. However, one thing I want to mention is that the type of video that you create for a sponsored brands ad is kind of different. It needs to be created in a certain way in order for it to be effective. I mean, you can be creating a video that's a slow build, like something that tells a story, etc. That's kind of a slow build story, but that may not work, right? So I'm going to give you an example here. So look at this video ad. Very engaging because it's showing a particular use case of this garden hose when it can get frozen in your garden, and how this is kind of weatherproof in a
Mhm.
sense, because I know that there are some ads that have mastered the art of drawing people in. So, what are some of these strategies, or what are some of these hooks or styles that can get people really, really interested in watching your ad from start to finish? So, let's look at some of the best practices.
Sure.
I think the first one I want to mention is that the opening hook should show the product in use. Now, what we have learned over the years or months or however long you've been selling on Amazon is that these types of ads, especially sponsored brands ads or sponsored brands video ads, they should show lifestyle imagery, right? Now, when we use the word lifestyle, it doesn't mean that you just show like a background that has, the scene in which your product is being used. You actually want to show the product in use. Like the product is the hero of everything, right? You want to basically zoom into that, right? So your opening hook needs to be the product itself, right? That's something that I've learned after reviewing, auditing hundreds and hundreds of video assets, the ones that do well and the ones that don't, right? So this is one thing I've noticed. Really good ads always have the product in use in the very first shot, the opening shot.
You know something else, Ritu? Sorry for interrupting, but another thing that ad had, which a lot of people don't realize how important it is sound. You can hear the hammer, cracking and breaking the ice, and that just makes it more engaging. It's part of that psychological journey.
That's such an interesting point. So what you're saying is that the visual itself kind of evokes this feeling of sound, right? Even though there is no sound, you're actually thinking like, oh, okay, there's like a sound going on in the background. So
Yeah, you can kind of hear it, right?
yeah, yeah, I agree. So the second best practice here is don't try to build up a story. You have only 2 seconds to engage, right? So that this is one of the mistakes that a lot of brands make. They have a storyline. Someone in their team or someone is putting together a video that has a sequence. If you're trying to sell something, you're trying to get into the mood, like almost like a movie. You're trying to say, oh, this person is sitting by the window and looking out, and then something happens, and then something happens, and then the product shows up. Too late, people have moved on.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So you don't want to build up a story with sponsored brands ads. You want to make it quick. You want to get to the point. You have only 1 or 2 seconds to keep the shopper engaged with your content, right? So don't try to build up a story.
I'd almost say it's more like the 1 second. People
Yeah,
don't people
exactly.
don't wait anymore.
People don't wait anymore, right? And honestly, Norm, I have reviewed video ads with so many people, and I usually tell them, hey, if your video only started from the 29th second, you would do much better. Like I've had that conversation with so many people. Hey, start your video here, not from second one. At 29th second, your video is actually showing the product in the way it's supposed to be used. So I'm going to give you an example. This was a pizza peel, which I didn't know what a pizza peel was till I saw that ad, honestly. But basically, it's this thing that you place your pizza on, and then you take it to the oven and kind of transfer it to the oven, the furnace. So the way this ad was being built up was an unboxing style. So first they showed a box, and then the box opened, and then someone removed the wrapping, and then they took the pizza peel out, and then they placed the pizza on it, and then they took it to the furnace, and there you could see this fire and the pizza being put in. I was like, this is your starting point. This should be where you start the video, not that unboxing style. There, it's not going to work. People don't have the time to see what you're opening, what boxes you're opening. Therefore, always review your video to see where is the real meat of the video. Where is it actually starting? Pick that up and then rearrange your slides. It doesn't matter. You can move the front end of your frames to the back, because these videos go on a loop, right? So they keep repeating. If someone has watched the whole thing, it'll just start over from the beginning. Don't try to build up a story. Just get to it.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point.
Okay, next point. Use zoomed in close-ups. I cannot overemphasize this because a long shot versus a close-up, day and night. So if you have an over zoomed in image of the product, it works really well. It like just goes straight into it, like show even the texture. It doesn't matter. People love that stuff. They want to see raw. They want to be able to feel and touch it, but they can't because it's online, right? So don't give them a long shot, because the long shot loses that. They're like, yeah, something is something on the screen, it's okay. But when you show them the zoomed in version of it, suddenly there is interest. I don't know, it's magical. It works. There was one client we were helping. Their videos were kind of zoomed out versions of a pet and a pet product in use. All we did was told them, hey, we want this super zoomed in. So we went straight to the part that the pet that was being helped with the product. Instantly, their sales started to improve when they did that. Just that one thing. Zoom it in as much as you can.
Everybody who's listening right now will start to notice. If you haven't noticed that, you're going to pick that up in every commercial that you're watching on TV. The
Yeah.
soda, the bubbles. It's a really great tip that you gave. It's so important. If you're looking at somebody carving something with a knife, let's say it's a tomato, and it's an extra sharp knife, and it's going through this tomato with condensation, and you can see the knife blade pulling through. It's a great visual.
I feel like this is one of the keys to success with sponsored brands videos, and also sponsored brands in general.
Now, do you have an example that you can show us?
So this is not a sponsored brands video, but it is something that I found very interesting. So in this video, you're actually seeing the product, which is a suitcase in this case, and the man is actually showing you how he's packing, and it just creates a lot of interest. I think people who are used to social media, they're very engaged with content like this, where someone is packing something. So see how close up that is. See how zoomed in this whole video is. And you can use UGC style videos even with sponsored brand ads, and that's something that a lot of people don't know or don't realize. You can use vertical formats. So anything that you're using for your social media will do just as well on Amazon. So I would say this kind of stuff actually sells because people are used to seeing UGC style content, and this is just very, very normal to be used even with sponsored brand ads.
I want to talk about this next slide, and it's about on-screen text and just being able to read something. I've talked about this before to many people about understanding fonts, and sometimes people think that they're a graphic designer and that they can just go onto their computer and do it themselves, and the person and their spouse are the only people that really like whatever comes out, like let's say for a logo or for a tagline. It's so important that you're able to read the text and you're not using some crazy text that or font or combination of fonts that nobody can read. Only you because you set it up. So you want to dig into that a little bit more?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, there's something to be said about contrast, right? On any kind of background, you want to make sure that your text pops, right? It needs to be legible. Just note that when you're creating a video, you're probably seeing it full screen, but when it's delivered, it's actually much smaller than your final size. So definitely make sure that you zoom it or you size it to the right size that it's going to actually show up in, and then test if it's legible or not, right? So that's very important. The second thing is that a lot of people don't add any on-screen text, which is so wrong, I would say, because these ads are on mute as a default. None of these ads have audio until you press on the audio button or the shopper presses on the audio button. So it has to be kind of synced with whatever is being shown. It has to be meaningful. You don't want to overdo it. I've also seen videos where there's like, a split screen, people are speaking, there's on-screen text for the words they're speaking, and then there's also some other text on the side that is talking about, the bullet points of the product, and it's just too busy and just too distracting, right? You don't want that. If it's a person speaking, if it's a head, it's a talking head kind of video, then make sure that the text is synced with what they're saying, and there's no other distracting information on that display. And yeah, definitely make sure that your text has like some sort of dark background so that it's visible. The simplest kind of color combination or contrast you can think of is like white text on black background, because that eliminates any kind of chances of not being readable, right? That's the simple, straightforward. I don't know about you, Norm, but what kind of fonts or styles do you prefer?
Well, I don't mix the fonts. That's important. If you add too many fonts, especially if there's two or three different styles, people don't know where to look. So I'll work with like an Arial style font where, bold, regular, italic, some of the ones you don't want to mix around is like a serif font. I'll just give you an example. This is just an example. The comic style font where it's just, you can't read it.
Yeah,
You can definitely read it when you take a second, but by that second, you're already on or they're on to something else.
right.
One thing that we should emphasize here is that if you have something that might be a call to action or it might be just the conversation that's going on, if the person can't read that instantly, they're gone. They're not going to hang around. You're going to lose the sale.
I totally agree. Yeah. And sometimes straightforward, like you said, Arial, that's perfect. Like you don't even need to be too creative. Like don't be too creative. It
Yeah.
works. Just use that font. Yes, you can italicize it if you want to emphasize a word here or there. But other than that, stick to the same basic boring stuff. It's okay. It works. It totally works.
Same thing with size. Don't have 20 different sizes. Just,
Yeah.
one, two, maybe three if you have to, but just enough to keep people's attention.
Okay, let's go to the next best practice, which is test the video with no audio. Okay, I'll tell you how I've seen people work with video ads. They will create a video and they'll have this amazing music playing in the background, and then they'll time everything with the music, and it sounds really good. Like when you're listening to it, everything is going as per the beats and synchronized and all that stuff, but then it could be too slow for the most important part. Like the most important part needs to be, like I said, in the beginning, right? The zoomed in product in use kind of thing should be in the beginning, and most people align it with the sound, and then they lose their audience. Like they're already gone. So the best test of whether this video works or not is to turn off your audio completely and test it that way. Does it make sense? Does it go at the right pacing, or is it too slow? and you can never be too fast, honestly, when it comes to sponsored brand videos. The more you can compress into that first second or the second second, the better it is for you. You can slow down towards the end of the video, that's fine, but you want to get a lot of action packed into the beginning, and that can only happen if you're actually testing your video without the audio beats, right? Those beats need to go. That's not for this style of ad. It may be good for like a television ad where you are actually getting all the senses involved, like you're getting the audio involved and the visual and everything is coming together. All of that won't work with a sponsored brand video ad. So turn off the audio and then do your testing.
To add to that, when you're watching TV, it's a shotgun ad. They're blasting it out to anybody listening. But with this, you really should know your audience. So if your audience and they click on that X and you've got some crazy music going on, or if they're in a whole different scene, now this just goes back to understanding your demographic. Why not just tune in the type of music that they would like? Or something that's not going to offend. I mean, there's some music that I listen to and it's just like, why did they even put that on there? It's going to take people away from the ad again.
Yes.
So if it's the music
Yeah,
that's carrying the ad, you got it backwards.
I totally agree.
This is something that I think is very important too. Talking about building that single purpose landing page. I really want to get into this because I think it's very important.
Okay, so what are single purpose landing pages? So, one of the things we've noticed and realized is that, when you show a shopper a particular ad, right? They click into it and they kind of step into your funnel, right? And then they're taken to some sort of landing page, whether that is a product detail page or it's a storefront. What happens in terms of their retention or of what they were shown is really up to how you design that journey. So let's say you take shoppers through the journey of, okay, they see an ad and then they are taken to a store page, right? Now the store page might be the home page of their storefront, and on that home page they might have a variety of different products. Maybe it has your about story, origin story. They might have access to your bestsellers. They might see some deals on, and so on. So there's a lot of like distraction that might be possible at that point. Now, they started their journey into your funnel by looking at an ad that was specifically meant for a particular product, right? And when you take them to a landing page that is a multi-purpose landing page, well, then there's a risk that at that point, those shoppers might lose interest in your brand, or they might get distracted because the path is too long. There's too many friction points on that path. You want to make that frictionless, right? You want to make it easy for people to find what they're looking for, right? And so what's the best way to do that? You take them to a distraction free page. So for example, if I take this product, I have a keyword here. They type that keyword in, they see the product has a headline that matches what they type. They type Thunderbolt for dock, they see Thunderbolt for docking station. Now they click into the ad and then they're taken to someplace, right? And that someplace is the single purpose landing page. Just in terms of like flow, it looks like this. There's a video here, they've clicked on it, and then they go to the storefront, which has another video, which is like a long form video that has all the information they might need to make a purchase decision. And then they see the actual product and the ability to buy right there. So this is very simple. Basically, if you've learned anything from our discussion today, it's like stay simple. Just allow people to buy the things that they're looking for, right? Just go straight to the point, right? So this is an example of what that looks like. The landing page has another video, which is like a explainer video, a long form video of the thing that they saw in the ad. And so there's complete continuity of their experience. They haven't been shown anything else except the product that they came looking for. Then they see the product right here, and they see the add to cart button so that they can buy right away, right? Now, this kind of flow is called the single purpose landing page flow. And this is kind of the best way to let people find you and then purchase from you. It's like the shortest possible funnel that you can design on your own, if only you do it intentionally, right? If you land them on a multi-purpose page that has many distracting choices available, well, that's good in a sense because you can show them, oh, my brand has all kinds of things that you can pick from, but then you also risk losing their attention at that point. And right now, in this day and age, our shoppers have very limited attention spans, right? And that just means that we need to be respectful of people's time and, remove any friction from their path and lead them straight to where they can actually make that purchase decision easily.
I think you nailed it. One of the things that you look at, like on the main search page, or if you're driving people over to a storefront, what happens is if they decide to take a look at something else on the page, that doesn't mean they're going to stay on your page. They might see something and go, oh, that's pretty cool. And now they're exploring more competitors and you don't get the sale, or maybe you do. But what you're trying to do is make sure that that focus is like zeroed in on that product. And you're so right. This is a great example. If you're not doing something like this, just take a look at this and you'll see the clarity. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, ever since we started doing this, it's made a huge shift. It has made a huge difference to our performance with sponsored brand ads. And, some of the myths that we talked about at the beginning get busted right away because you actually can use sponsored brand ads very effectively to help shoppers find your products. And it's not just for brand building. It's not just for showcasing your brand, the way big brands do. It's like for everyone. It's a mechanism for helping shoppers discover your products easily.
Well, there's a word in sponsored brands, and that's brand, right? Authority equals trust equals sales. And when you drive somebody over to a page like that and you're keeping consistent with your brand, that's the first thing they're going to look at. If it kind of looks wonky or there's no thought put into that store page and it just all over the place, the page that you just showed, and if you took some competitors, you're going to notice that this would stand out. So not only does it look better and it's more focused, but it has a higher perceived value. That's another thing that you can look at when you try to drive your traffic over to these single purpose pages.
Yeah, agreed.
So now let's talk about the last thing. This is about keywords and how do we set up these videos?
Yes, I think one of the things that almost every Amazon seller has access to is tools that help you find the right keywords for your products, right? You can use a lot of Amazon's own tools like brand analytics, including top search terms, product opportunity explorer. There's a lot of insights that Amazon gives us about shopping behavior, trends, and all that good stuff. So if you have a list of keywords to pick from, I would say go with long tail keywords that actually capture your shopper's intent. So, for example, if you are creating sponsored brand ads with general purpose words like super broad words, or words that could mean many different products, right? They could be satisfied by any different product other than your own. Well, then you might be opening yourself up for a kind of exposure that you may not be prepared for in terms of profitability. You might be throwing a really wide net, and you may not be able to get the right people to find your products. And the more long tail you go, the more closer you get to a shopper's real intent, the better it is when it comes to matching what they're looking for and what you have to serve, right? So a long tail keyword could be something like foundation for oily skin versus foundation for dry skin, or it could be different. But if you just bid on a very broad keyword like foundation, you might end up being in competition with all the types of foundation that are out there: liquid foundation, powder foundation, primers, everything.
This is a general word.
Yeah, it's a very general word. Like sometimes even sunscreens have foundation mixed in with them. So foundation plus sunscreen, like it could be anything, right? So if you start running ads that really don't always directly point to your type of product, then you're off. Like you might not be able to do justice to the kind of advertising we're talking about, the profitable advertising that we're talking about here. So the more long tail and the more clean your intent is, the better it is for great discovery, great product discovery. And obviously, you want to find words that actually truly represent your product, because Amazon ads always rewards relevancy over just bidding on any random keyword, right? If you are selling a liquid foundation, you don't want to bid on powder foundation, right? Just because you want more impressions, that's not the right word. I think everybody understands that, but a lot of people don't implement it in practice because they just bid on the big broad word foundation, and so that already captures both types of foundation. So you get the point, right? So make sure that you are doing your keyword research and then choosing long tail keywords that actually match shopper intent. The second or the next thing I would say is that you have the ability to provide a headline with these video ads. So choose, the message or the headline by closely matching it to the choice of keyword as well. So if you're saying foundation for oily skin, then let that be your headline as well. Like, you don't have to be clever about it. Like, you don't have to say things like glowing skin begins here or something broad and vague like that. If your shopper is typing uh, foundation for oily skin, and if they see an ad that says foundation for oily skin, well, there you have a match, right? And then they're like, oh yeah, that's what I typed and that's what I saw. And that's when you start to connect with your shoppers by using words that actually match with what they typed in, right? So messages, imagery, choice of words, all of those need to be very closely aligned. You don't need to be clever here. It's very simple and very straightforward.
There's one common denominator here. Everything I'm hearing is keep it simple. The single page, it was simple. This is simple. If you're going to go out and just shotgun all these keywords, you're not going to make any money. And if you focus on this, now you're drawing in that group that actually wants your product. Shotgun, that approach that a lot of people do take. You might have some of your audience, visit your page or your listing, but it's not meant for you. So if I'm a snorkeler, don't show me scuba diving equipment.
Yeah, and it's so simple, right? Like, once you start thinking about it that way, it has to reflect in the way you set up these ads. Otherwise, the myths become true. The myths that we talked about in the beginning, they become more and more true because you didn't set it up properly, right? So, all that we're discussing today is to make sure that you guys, everybody feels confident in the power of sponsored brand video ads, because they are very, very powerful. And there's only some things coming in the way of you going and using them. So we're talking about that right now.
So let's talk about another really important piece, and that is the length. What's the ideal size?
These video ads can be as short as 6 seconds and as long as 45 seconds, right? Now, do we really need a 45-second long video to explain your product? Probably not, because there's other videos on your page that explain, the product in detail. They've got explainers and things like that. The main goal of your video ad is to draw people in. You want to have the video be very specific to a certain group of words that they're typing in. So, like, foundation for oily skin, or foundation for oily skin for dark women, or whatever those long tail words that kind of go together. You want to create your video for that collection of words, and then your only goal with the sponsored brand ad is to bring them in, draw them into your funnel, create that hook, and then let people explore and discover your products. Typically, we've noticed that 15 to 20 seconds is enough. It's more than enough to run this video ad, and then it just goes on repeat. So even if they missed any part of it, it just goes on repeat, right? And generally, that's good enough. Most people's view time is not more than 5 or 10 seconds. You can actually check that yourself in the reports that you see for your video ads. You can actually see what was the watch time, and a lot of times that is good enough and of an indicator of like how long your videos should be. But typically, we think 15 to 20 seconds is more than enough.
When they look at that report too, like if they just click off immediately, well, or within a couple of seconds, that you don't have that hook. Something's got to happen up front. You could take that report a couple of different ways, but length is definitely an indicator of either if you've got to change the front of the video or something is happening in the back of the video. Where do people buy? And I know for myself, if somebody produced a 6-second video, maximum 12-second video, I'm there. You got me. You got my attention. When you start getting over that, it's like, I don't have time. I've got to move on. So that 45 length, I would never use it.
Yeah, me neither. Never. In fact, what I've so there isn't there that principle that says work expands to fill the time available. It's the same thing. Like if you give your team or your agency the ability to create a 45-second long video, they're going to try and fill that up. So their tendency would be to go and build a story. You don't need a story, right? You just need to show the product in use in the best possible way, and that's it. That's the whole purpose. And so the tighter of a goal you give them, the more creative they will be in packing things in to a single scene, the first scene, and maybe the second, and maybe the third, and that's it. 3 seconds is all, should basically contain everything that you want to share about the video in that sequence. So I would say the tighter the goal, the more creative your team will be. So give them a tighter goal. I generally tell people 10 seconds, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's kind of hard to make a 10-second video for a lot of people. So I'm like, okay, fine, generous. Let's be generous, 15 to 20 seconds. But personally, I prefer 10 seconds,
Yeah.
honestly.
So we agree.
Okay, and then the last one is more of a tactical thing, which is like don't stuff too many keywords in a campaign. It's just a general purpose advice on how to set up campaigns, especially for sponsored brands videos. If you try to stuff too many keywords, it becomes too broad, and it's like the single purpose mechanism starts to break down at that point, because if you are trying to create single purpose landing pages, then at least the keyword and the headline need to be aligned with the collection of words that you pick. And so, by definition, if you're going to cross that boundary and start to add too many keywords, like 15, 20, 30 keywords into a single campaign, then the single purpose mechanism is going to break down anyway. So it won't be aligned with that approach. So I would recommend, having smaller collection of very similarly position words. You can kind of match the shopper's intent and keep their attention, so that you can lead them into the next stage of their journey.
And then you know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, exactly,
It gives you a
exactly.
little bit better insight. So this is going to be one of my favorite parts of this episode, and that's the examples. So we've got a bunch of examples here, and
Yeah.
just to show you, what other brands are doing. So Ritu, do you want to just go and show a few people, or show the
Yeah.
examples we have?
So yeah, let's look at some examples of video ad styles that I have seen, and I keep taking screenshots whenever I like a video ad, because I want to learn from other people. So the first example I want to show you is where a problem is being solved, and this one solves the problem of blunt knives, right? This is really a sharp knife, and as you can see, you're basically seeing the tomato fall on the knife and it splits into two. Like, what better way to explain that the one feature that this knife is good at, the sharpness,
Mm-hmm.
and it's solving a problem. So I would say this is one of the best type of ads. And as you can see, this is only 3 seconds long. Like, yes, I took only a segment of the longer form video, but you can see in 3 seconds, you can hook, you can engage your audience and bring them in. So now they're like, oh my God, what kind of knife is this? I need a knife like that, right? So this is the first one, problem solving. Second example is comparison, because if there's so many products that do the same thing, then you want to get into a shopper's mind by showing a comparison between how your product operates and how other people's products operate. So, for example, this is showing a garlic press that you don't need to peel. So, in a sense, this is also solving a problem, but it is also doing it in a comparison kind of format, which is really good because it immediately elevates your product in the eyes of the shoppers. Like, oh, okay, I don't need to peel. That's cool. Another style is the trust building style, where you basically have a talking head trying to say what their experience has been with the product, and that's kind of cool. Some people use influencers for this, which is also cool. I think UGC style videos would really do great with this kind of trust building because they're looking straight at the camera, which is another tip. We didn't talk about it, but especially when you're trying to build trust, you want to be able to look straight into the camera instead of having like a side pose or side shot. You want to be able to speak directly to the person who is about to or is considering the product for purchase. And then the other style, which some brands do have and they work, is the cinematic storyline. Now, you really need to have a level of expertise in videography and cinematography to be able to pull off something like this. But this is Gatorade, or not Gatorade. Yeah, it is Gatorade, right? So Gatorade, okay, yes, Gatorade can do this. A lot of brands may not have the kind of budgets that Gatorade has to build a video like this, but that doesn't mean that that this is the only successful ad. There are so many beverages out there that do really, really well without having an ad like this. This ad will do great on like Prime Video or on streaming TV, etc., and it can do really well on sponsored brand ads as well. But it doesn't mean that you have to think about this and get demotivated or think that, oh my God, I can't produce something like this. Like I said earlier, it can be very simple. It can be the product in use, very zoomed in, etc., and you can still build really good videos. So I do want to emphasize that Amazon ads provide a lot of tools to help us out. One simple tool is the slideshow, which basically, if you have 5 images, the ad actually can convert that into a slideshow, which is good enough for in many cases. Like, it looks good. It has this element of movement, draws the eye. Put 5 images together, and it just scrolls through them. Looks good, works well. That's the first one. Second one is, if you want to create any video using the Creative Studio, which is new. It's an AI-based solution. I've tried it. It works really well. And yes, sometimes you need to choose from the options that they have, which is great because you get up to 6 options, and you can keep trying till you get the video that you like. And it can work really well because all you need to do is provide the ASIN, and it will pick all your assets for that ASIN, and then it will create an amazing video, and it imagines the scene, how the product is being used, all that good stuff. So if you really don't have any resources for creating these videos any other way, this is free. Literally, this is built into your Amazon ads console. Like, you just have to go into creative tools and then just look for Creative Studio. It'll say beta AI, and that's a great option for building these kinds of video ads.
I've used that as well, and they've made it so easy. And the quality, I was really surprised at how good the quality was. So there's no excuse. If you need a video, you can go there, very inexpensive or free. And what else do you need? There's no reason. There's so many ways to create these videos very inexpensively, and Amazon Ads is giving you the tools to do that. All right, I think we came to the end. I think we covered it all. There we go.
We did.
Sponsored
That was
brand,
fun.
sponsored brand videos. Ritu, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, just putting this together and just letting us know about these options that a lot of sellers are nervous about using, but you can't be nervous anymore. I think we covered everything.
Yes.
All right, Ritu. Well, thanks again. And we will see you later.
Thank you.
Entrepreneur.